Sure, sir.
Yeah, so okay, good evening and welcome to Sit Chat. Today, we have a very interesting topic and a very interesting guest. So before we go there, let me introduce Sit Chat very briefly. What are the background and why I've been doing this for quite some time now. I share my screen, and after that, my presentation, and then we are good to go. See, every
Perfect.
Thursday at 8:30 in the evening, I've been conducting this Sit Chat on behalf of Startup Ignition team. The idea is mainly to expose our Startup Ignition team members and also other people who have something to share. Everybody have a story to share. So the idea is to expose them, and the idea is to get them some visibility. And at the same time, each one of us can learn something from this discussion. And the topics are diverse, anything to do with business, to startup, anything to do with work, life, generic, any topic which makes sense, which is interesting. We pick that and then choose that as the topic for the day. And our experts who come on the show, the guests who come on the show, they are all, what should I say, accomplished people, have their own wisdom, their own way of doing things. However, before you really implement any insight, we recommend that you consult and discuss with your trusted sources before you execute anything, so that whatever you are implementing will definitely yield the results and the benefits that you expect them to give. With that brief introduction, today's topic is something very interesting, an architect and athlete's soul for high precision manufacturing. Architect would possibly design and conceptualize. Athlete is somebody who has a tremendous amount of energy and resilience. These two put together, design, resilience, persistence. How does that soul fit into high precision manufacturing, where also the same qualities are the essence, the DNA of success in such a industry? So to talk about this, we have Kanchan Bhatt, who is the director of her company in Pune. Before I hand over to her, a very brief introduction about myself. I am Dinakar. I've been doing this voluntary role as the moderator for this chat for about a year now. Otherwise, I help companies improve their performance and grow. In my role as a mentor and coach. Before this, I was working with Bosch for 26 years in multiple locations. With that brief introduction, over to you, Kanchan. Please introduce yourself, and then we are very eager to listen to your wisdom, whatever you share. Thank you so much. Over to you. You're on mute, Kanchan.
Kanchan.
Yes. I was saying thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate this. I mean, you were right about the architect and the athlete. Actually, it's a combination that still helps me. A brief introduction would be that I was born and brought up in Srinagar, and unfortunately in 1990 we had to leave and run away because of the turmoil that was happening there. And I was a part of that. I was just 10 years old, actually. I think, in my opinion, that is one of the formative things in my life, because before that it was absolutely fine. As children, we did not feel anything our parents might have and must have. But we as children did not feel much of anything. And even back then in Srinagar, I was always into sports. I always had an inkling for sports from my childhood. It always kept me motivated, and it was always something that I looked forward to. And it develops a little amount of discipline, I would say. And so when we ran away, we came to Jammu. We did our schooling from Jammu, rest of the schooling. It was a big change because studying or living in Srinagar is a completely different thing, and living in Jammu is a completely different thing. They are one single state, but they are two complete worlds apart. And when we went to Jammu, it was a big shock to us as to what is happening. This place is very different, and being a 10-year-old, it's a little difficult to adjust and to understand. First of all, I think it was a lot to take in very suddenly, because we ran away on 19th January. in the middle of the night, all of us Kashmiri Pandits ran away for saving our lives. And I saw firsthand what happened on the way out of Srinagar. And it was difficult. It was very difficult. I don't want to go into the details because that's another story and it will take probably a few days to complete that story. But it was difficult. And I think what that did was that it made me very tough. I feel that when you are in very difficult situations, it either makes you or it breaks you, or you'll go either side of the spectrum. But somehow, because I kept in touch with my sports, I tried to focus on the sports and the studies eventually. I think the first few years were difficult as even in studies because of the big change. But sports was one thing that was always unique to me, or always stayed consistent with me, and it gave me that level of discipline. And I think after what happened, it was basically, it gave me an understanding of human life, like when you are up against the wall, and it's a survival instinct, basically a human being's survival instinct, and you will do anything. Our father practically did everything that he could do to save us and to get us out of there in a good, like in a healthy condition, without any without any hurt to us. So I think that was a very big learning lesson for me. And then we were in Jammu. I studied in Jammu, and I decided to take up architecture because I am of the creative bent. So I requested my father that I would like to become an architect. I had many other ideas before that. I wanted to become a fighter pilot, but then I started taking admissions. Taking for admissions and looking for admissions, and I got a seat in the Cummins College, Pune, and I came here for my architecture. And in the meantime, my father, he basically started his journey from HMT. I'm giving you the background of his journey because our manufacturing unit is based on his journey. It's not based on my journey. My journey is of transition, but it is his journey as well. So he was in HMT. He was the deputy head of the HMT unit, Srinagar, and he was in charge of the unit and HMT watch division, to clarify. So he has very, very good acumen and understanding of precision, basically. And whatever I've learned about precision is from him, and probably thanks to architecture, because in architecture also we have to be fairly precise. While drawing, while building, we have to be very, very precise. So he started his journey there, and then he started an ancillary unit in Srinagar itself, which a few people were selected for, and he was one of the first people to be selected for it. He has always been a brilliant in terms of his education. He was always a topper and a great mathematician, I would say. So when that ancillary unit, when we ran away after that, he went back and he got the ancillary unit to Jammu. But Jammu is not really a business place. At least in manufacturing, it does not have any scope there. So he was thinking of moving out, and he came to Pune. He set up his unit here in 2001. I studied here from 2000 itself. And I finished my bachelor's in architecture, and I was still in touch with my sports. I think that's why I told you the soul of an athlete. I've always been in sports, and I carried it through my architecture as well. And I used to be a sprint runner. I used to do a lot of sports like badminton. And incidentally, my father also used to be a badminton player in his younger days. And so when I came to Pune, I did my bachelor's here. After that, I went to the University of Sydney, Australia. I did my master's from University of Sydney in sustainable design. And at that time, what was happening was it was the cusp of green building certification coming into picture. So I was very interested in seeing how India progresses, or how India moves towards green building certification. Because you can do any amount of work, if it's not measured, it's not valued. It makes a difference when you measure it and when you value it, basically. So I I have a lot of accreditations when it comes to green building rating systems. I have 15 years of experience. When I came back, I worked in multiple companies, but the first company that I worked in was Wipro Eco Energy. I actually got very lucky to get some amazing bosses who were still my mentors, to be honest. My immediate boss and our super boss, both of them are still my friends and colleagues then and now friends. And I still take advice from them from time to time for things if I need to. And I think that was the best start anybody could have as a, first job in India. And then I did a few other jobs. I worked with the US Green Building Council. I worked with one of the most famous architects of India, Christopher Charles Penninger. I was very thankful to have his tutelage. And so then I have my own practice as well. It's called K-Tribe Studio. I do it in my own time. It is whenever I get a passion project. I don't work on commercial basis. But then came the story of my father started his unit in 2001, sorry. And eventually we were thinking of what next for him. And let me be honest, he restarted his business thrice. And the last time he restarted his business from scratch was at the age of 65. So if somebody can do that, I think pretty much he sets a very, very lofty example for all of us to be, in terms of resilience, in terms of, the passion to do something that he really loves. We had told him many times, why don't you do a job? You're a great mathematician, you can be a great teacher, but no, he just wanted to do what he wanted to do. And when it came to the fact about whether we should sell it off, the business, the amount of hard work he has put into it and the amount of time and effort and everything he had put into it, I just could not get, I mean, none of us, not just me, none of us, we are four in the family, none of us could get to sell the business. So I was like, how can we do this? And the only way to save it or to take it forward was me going into the business. So that's it. I just decided one day and I told him, okay, I'm going to join you. And he's like, are you sure? I said, yeah. And I just joined him. And I guess I'm as stubborn as he is. So I decided once in my head, and it was that was it. So the whole background of architecture and the whole background of sports was extremely, extremely helpful in, making such a switch, because your brain is so tuned to taking on something that is difficult or that is not easily done, or people may not even think about it on a day-to-day basis. Just like that, everybody was like, you have a great job, why are you doing this? I was like, it's okay, a challenge is a challenge. So that was my usual response to it. And because everybody was surprised, I had 15 years of experience in architecture, sustainable design, and green building rating systems, and a lot of associated with that. In fact, I'll give props to my first job because my super boss was the one who pushed me into business development, technical business development. And so that came in handy when I joined my father. The architecture knowledge of be able to study the drawings in depth, to be able to understand them, and to be able to ask the right questions. Hopefully at times I can ask sometimes really bad questions also, but that's okay. That's the whole part of the journey, I feel. So it all of this really came together and it really helped me. And I think I always apply principles of life in everything. So if it's like I said, I have consistency because of sports, and I have huge passion that I have for sports. I apply it everywhere. If I love something, it's like 100% or nothing. It's more, I have that kind of thing for things that I really love, and I'll put all of the effort into that. At least I try my best to do it. I'm not saying I will always be perfect. There's no perfection in anything, but I'll always try to do my best in whatever I try to take up. So that is long story short for myself.
Kanchan, really a lot of goosebumps, I say. Kashmiri Pandit, exodus from Srinagar, then Jammu, from there to Pune. It's really a kind of a movie story, you know.
It is. It
It's really
can.
it can be a movie story. So first of all, you've been in this role how long now? In this
About 6 years. I joined
about
him part 6 years.
6 years now. Six
Yeah,
years
yeah, yeah.
now.
I joined him full time in 2018. And
Uh-huh.
before that, I went part time so that I could study and read what is happening
Yeah.
and what am I supposed to do. So before that, I went in like few days of the week. After that, I went in full time.
So I have two questions to start with. First is what are your challenges in this role, which is different than what you're used to or what you were used to, and what is your what should I say, vision, or what do you want to do? What kind of a legacy do you want to leave behind?
I think the most difficult part, I'll be completely honest, and it was working with your father. It's not very easy when you work. I think it's the thing all of the family or legacy businesses will tell you, because I have spoken to many of them and they had the same. I thought, and I felt relieved. Okay, I'm not the only one. I don't feel like a devil suddenly.
Uh-huh.
But he's a different generation, of course, and he has a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
But the great thing about him is that he still loves to learn. So
Mhm.
eventually we come on some common ground and we are like, okay, and then I have found a way to get through to him,
Okay.
not his way, I
Okay.
think. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges. The other challenge is actually, there are actually not many women in manufacturing. And right now, see, my shop floor people, they have known me for many years because I used to go off and on to the shop
Correct.
floor, and my people are with us since 15, 16, 19 almost years. There's one guy who's 19, 20. They've been with us since 19, 20 years. And they all know my dad. They all know me very well. But in other shop floors, I actually went to a shop floor in Bangalore, and there was this one person who asked me, "What are you doing here?" Like, questioning me. It was not like in a nice way, or it was like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing here?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, just tell me what the machine does, or what are you
Yeah.
making?" I was first, I was a little shocked. But then I understood from where they're coming, because it's always been a male-dominated industry. You will hardly see any women on the shop floor. I
Correct.
mean, we have women, but they're in the quality section, like, quality
Mhm.
check or packaging and other things.
Mhm.
There's no woman on the shop floor as such.
Mhm.
There's never a woman giving you a drawing to, discuss, or, that doesn't really happen a lot. I think that was one of the things that I had to, like, that barrier I had to break. And what I did was that I went to the shop floor and I told them that I do not know as much as you guys know.
Mhm.
So I'm here to learn. Please
Mhm.
teach me. And
Yeah.
I might ask you stupid questions or good questions, bad questions, whatever it is. Let me ask, and I hope you can teach me.
Yeah.
So they deserve the due respect that they have, because they have worked there for, like,
Yeah.
years and years. So that is how I kind of made my people mine,
Yeah.
on the shop floor, at least. I'm pretty sure that some of them senior guys were always, on my side, but the others were probably not that much. But then that act made them understand that, okay, I'm genuinely interested in learning. And
Yeah.
so that's the way I operated. Then the I think these were the main 3, 4 things that were the barriers. And I managed to break through all of those barriers. And I am a decent communicator, I feel.
Mhm.
So it helps, all of that. And I can speak thoda, like, broken Marathi, not the West.
Mhm.
And they enjoy it. They enjoy it. And I always make a fool of myself, and they enjoy that I make a fool of myself. So, they can have a good laugh at my expense, and I'm totally
Yeah.
good with that.
And most of these, I think, would have come from your sports background, right? The primary quality of humility and trying to respect somebody who is put in so much amount of
Yes.
effort,
Yes, you're connecting the dots completely right.
Correct.
Because I've played rugby, I've played dragon boat racing, and all of the sports that I've usually played, except for sprint running and other things, they have been team sports.
Yeah.
And I actually prefer and love team sports, because
Yeah.
I love the whole camaraderie that goes in a team sports, and I love how you can push another person to do better and how another person can push you to do better. So I like that whole dynamism, and I really love that. So it has always helped me, definitely. Especially in terms of teamwork. I will always involve them in everything. I try my best to involve them. And so, yes, you're right that it does come from there. It does come from there.
And what about the legacy that you want to leave behind? Have you given a thought to that?
See, it's my father's legacy, so it has to be the best. It cannot be anything, anything, basic. And I feel that we have the acumen. It's not like we really have the acumen to be manufacturing something in such high precision that very few people can do that. I would like to believe that few people can do that. I would love to learn from the people who other people who do it. But I think it's time for India is at a we have been positioned very nicely right now globally, and I think I have worked overseas. I have lived overseas. I've studied overseas, and I'm kind of aware of what they think of us and how they think of us. The perception has changed in last few years, I would say.
Correct.
Like they would not trust Indians for precision. They would not trust Indians for communication. They would, because we are bad communicators. I will accept that because it happens with me in my suppliers. The person does not have the tooling. He will stop taking my calls. I'm like, okay, it's okay. You would let me know what is happening. That's there are a few things that are really very unique to the Indian DNA, I feel. And whenever I go to meet any customer overseas, I usually tell them I will give you a couple of things for sure. Communication, even if I'm in trouble, because it is possible. There is no perfect system ever. It is possible. I will let you know if we are in trouble. If there is any delay, we will try our best not to have it, but we will have contingencies. But if there is any delay, I will let you know on my own. You will not have to call me. And if you're giving me a drawing, I'm not going to ask you ki iska tolerance change kar sakte hain. No, that's not going to happen. I do not believe in that mindset. I do not believe, if you're doing something, do it the best. Don't degrade or down value the thing, because if he's giving you a drawing and there's a tolerance to it of, let's say, 10 microns, there is a reason he wants it. I mean, how can you say because it has happened to us. I've given some drawings out for some other secondary job or something. Can we reduce the tolerance? I'm like, no. So it's a thing. Chalta hai, that word.
Correct.
Attitude.
People hate it. Yes, that attitude. I would really love people to change that attitude, and I would be the first one to not do it at all. And we don't do it. That word is banned in my factory. Thank you so much. That
very
word,
good.
if anybody says it by any chance, I'm like, khabardar, I will become like, at that time, I will become the devil. Total Gabbar Singh at that point. So, and I will literally bash them like verbally, and I'll be like, don't dare to say that word. Do not ever. You don't want to work you want to say that word, go somewhere else. Don't.
Yeah, but that is required, right? In high precision, you cannot have a chalta attitude. It won't work.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I think the legacy is to have something wherein we can be in par with the Americans or the Germans.
Absolutely.
Americans, not Germans, I would say. You should not compare yourself with Americans.
Some
Germans
American
or Japanese.
Do. Yes, absolutely. And we recently bought some machinery. And see, this is when I'm talking about mindset. We bought the most expensive, the best possible machine in the category, just for precision. There was no compromise on that. There was no thought that, okay, no, let's get this one. It will be slightly cheaper, but it will give us close to this tolerance. That machine gives the best possible tolerance in sliding head automats. We are quite famous for sliding head automats. So that machine, it's a Swiss machine, and we did not compromise on that decision at all. Now, what happened later is a secondary question, but I will come to that later if at all. But because we believe that we can give the quality, we believe that we can give the consistency. Because when it comes to high precision, if the volume is slightly higher, consistency is of really big
Correct.
importance.
Hallmark.
Correct.
Very, very big hallmark. We are supplying some parts to a German customer right now. And these are about like 6 to 7 lakh parts a month.
Mhm.
And we help them make it in India.
Mhm.
They were importing it from overseas.
Mhm.
And I'm not trying to boast, but they did try a few suppliers before us who were able to supply the samples to them. But they
Yeah,
were
that's a
not
big
able
problem.
to supply
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Samples
Absolutely.
there, yeah. But then when it
Absolutely.
comes to 1 lakh, 2 lakh,
They
Then
can't.
you have a
They
problem.
can't. They
the
can't.
chamfer on that, the part looks very simple, but the chamfer on that part on the OD
Mhm.
and ID is 0.15.
Yeah.
And you have to remain within that.
Yeah.
You cannot go higher than that. It can be lower than that, but so it's that consistency over 6 lakh parts.
Yeah.
That is like,
Wow.
that's a hallmark we have. We
Correct.
can supply consistently. We manufacture about 23 lakh parts a month, and every single part will be of great consistency, quality, and everything
Yeah.
that is required as per the drawing. So my legacy, or our legacy, or I would rather say India's legacy in this case would be, I would really like India to be in a position where everybody takes our name, that we can manufacture precision, and we are the go-to people for precision.
Yeah.
It has to be the whole of it, like India. I don't want that just for myself. I want to be part of that group. Yes, like we are 10 people, 15 people, 50 people, how many ever number. But I would like the Japanese are known for their precision, like the Germans are known for their precision. Why do we buy German cars? We know it's the best in the class.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's an honest,
I think what you said was very true. One of my clients is really doing very good because they have created online real-time transparency of the order to the customer.
Oh wow, that's a next step. I mean,
You
that's
know,
the next
so
level.
where-
But yeah, that's a
Where
great idea.
the customer can go in. It's something like when you're ordering the pizza, you
Yeah,
know
right,
where
right,
the,
absolutely.
because the ERP systems today enable you that.
That high level, yeah.
So that entire thing is made open to the customer, and only because of that they get the orders, and they get the orders at a premium because the customer is sure that I know where my product is. With others, like you said, I ask him, he doesn't even tell whether the material is bought or
Yeah.
not. He many a times lies, and because of that, the customer also is confused whether the material will come at
I
all
agree.
or not.
I agree. I mean,
It's-
I have made it a point with my team that even if you are getting delayed, whatever is happening,
You
keep
be
them
on it,
posted.
be
Keep them posted. Keep
straightforward,
them
correct.
posted. Yeah.
In
keep them
advance, not
posted.
on the last minute.
Yeah, definitely not. Because
In advance.
if the delivery is tomorrow and I'm telling them today, that makes absolutely
There will
no
be a
sense.
shock. Correct.
They'll be like, what? Why did you even tell me? Probably.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
One
that's
no
why.
makes you happier.
Yeah,
One no
then-
makes you happier.
Yeah. And regarding the Tornos story, we will talk about on a different day. Now we will
Absolutely.
we will go to Sagar. You had a question, Sagar. Can you please go on?
Hi, good evening.
Hi, Sagar. Good evening.
Good evening. Rachana, nice, inspiring story that you said. I've got two questions. One
Sure,
is part one has got two questions. One is tell me a little more about the precision manufacturing, what sectors that you are in. That is
Okay.
just for the knowledge sake. The other one is see, during your conversation, you said that 3 times your father wanted to give up, and the last time that he wanted to give up was at 65. And you guys held on to it, and you are continuing now. After that, what happened? That story, I mean, can you just give that story part
Sure.
at 65
Sure.
when he restarted the third time at 65? Second
Yeah,
question is, you mentioned Archana, by the way,
Sorry,
I've
it's
got-
Kanchan.
oh sorry, Kanchan, I've
Mm.
got two connections with you. One is I too have an architectural firm. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And into
Wow.
sustainable architecture.
Oh,
Mud
wow.
block construction is what I'm into.
That's amazing. Sorry, I had to cut you off, but I was in Oroville for a couple of months,
Okay,
and I have lived there studying mud block masonry
right.
Uh-huh,
So I
okay.
do only mud blocks. Okay.
Uh-huh.
with Satprem, and he used to be the UNESCO chair
Ah.
at that point of time.
Okay.
And I've studied there and lived there for a few months to studying the. And by the way, my sustainable architecture practice, I always suggest people to go for mud blocks. So maybe I can, tell them next time your name to, go in with you, because I tend to design. Obviously, I can't construct. So
thanks.
I design and then I will tell them, please, let's do mud block.
Yeah. So mine is the reverse. I'm a mechanical engineer, got interested in architecture, and that is where I am in architecture. My partner
That's fantastic. That's interesting.
my partner is an architect. Okay, she studied in BVB Hubli. Now the other part is I am into manufacturing. I'm with manufacturing industries because of my mechanical engineering and my work experience. I do
Sure.
recruitment, and this is where I am. Now my second
Okay.
question is connected to the women in mechanical engineering. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in recruitment industries, I have a lot of demand for girls. I mean, women. We want for diverse hiring, etc., etc.
Right,
Now,
right.
how are you addressing in your industry about this diversity hiring, especially the girls? Okay, in
Sure.
mechanical industry. So these two questions for you, Kanchan.
Sure. So I think your first question was about the sectors that we supply to mainly.
Yeah.
So
What do you manufacture and what sectors?
we
that you-
manufacture very high precision components. It was primarily only for automotive components. See, my father is a technical guy, not a marketing person, so he never thought of diversifying into other sectors. But then that is what I figured, that after COVID, it was a very rude wake up call for all of us in the automotive sector, because we were hit really badly, all of us, because the automotive sector went down the most. So it was before that, actually, we were discussing that we need to, diversify sectors, and we cannot place all the eggs in the same basket. So at the moment, we are working, trying to work for aerospace sector, hydraulics, electronics, defense to a certain point, and medical industry. We are exploring that as well.
More as a contract manufacturing, is it?
Yeah, it contract manufacturing in the sense that, I mean, we get the drawings, we try to develop the parts for them.
Okay.
So that is the sectors that we are looking at. And I think the other question was about the 3 times my father. So let me tell you that, first of all, I would like to correct you on that one. He never gave up.
Okay.
It was circumstantial, in the sense, because what happened was, the first time was when we ran away from Srinagar. The second time was when he started in Jammu. He had to uproot it again and come to Pune. And the third time in Pune, what happened was that he partnered with somebody, and that partner betrayed him. Let me put it in the exact word. He betrayed him, and he took away all the machines, and he kind of, he had to give, as usual, he had to bribe the police to get his own machines back. So it was that kind of, and that happened at 65, but he still didn't give up. And it was a situational thing that was forcing him to give up, but he never gave up, because that's how much he loves the work. So that basically, what after that betrayal, when he started again, the story after that is where you see us today, pretty much. I mean, I was in Australia at that point of time, and both me and my sister, we came back. My sister lives in London. So we both came back because our mother told us what happened. And so we wanted to be there for dad. And we were just discussing with him, what does he want to do? And, he said, I'll start it back. No problem. And it's okay. Don't worry about it. And that's it. I mean, there is no question about ab kya hoga, like, what am I going to do? There is no factor of despair somehow, even though it was a very despairing situation. It was a very difficult situation, because what that man did was, who betrayed him, he owed him a lot of money as well. He neither paid him, and he also took away the machines. So I have never seen him be scared or in a situation it's a situation. Okay, we'll see. We'll figure it out. There's never oh my God, I am in a, there's I've never seen him that way. And that's exactly what I have imbibed from him. If we are down and out, I'll be worried, of course. It's not like I don't worry, but then I will think to myself, is my worrying going to help? Let's work on it. Let's see what can be done. So that's how he has been always. And that's how he came back. And then see, he has the acumen. Nobody can take that away. The other guy, he just had the money. So you cannot take knowledge away. You cannot take the understanding of precision away. I mean, he would again have to hire people to, get that work done, but he cannot do it himself. My father has the acumen to do it himself. So that's the difference. That's what makes you or breaks you. So
नकल करने के लिए अकल चाहिए ना.
exactly. और वरना शक्ल बिगड़ जाती है.
शक्ल बिगड़ जाती है.
The complete sentence is that because it's always my dad's line. नकल करने के लिए भी अक्ल होनी चाहिए वरना शक्ल बिगड़ जाती है.
बिगड़ जाती है.
So,
Yeah, so,
I hope that answers your other question. I think your third question was about the recruitment, right?
Women in manufacturing.
Right. So, Sagar, what happens is that I have about 60 to 65 people. Out of that, about 15 to 20 are women. And what I don't like is that, see, I'll tell you what happens is Indian women are conditioned so badly, so obnoxiously through years that we always think that we cannot do this. We cannot do this. That was the whole perspective everybody was giving me when I decided to join manufacturing. That you cannot, it is not a women's world, you cannot do this. I was like, well, let's see and find out. Okay, what's the worst that will happen? I'll fail. So it's okay. I mean, I'm okay with failures. I'm absolutely fantastic with failures, no problems at all. In my factory, what I did was that, again, all of them are into the quality division primarily. So I slowly tried to tell them that why don't you go into the main shop floor? Now I understand it takes a lot of understanding and it takes a lot of acumen to be running the machines that we have. So what I did was I didn't really push them into that. What I did was that I tried to push them towards the secondary operation machines, which are simpler and easier to operate, and there's no issue. So, but I told them, why don't you want to earn almost as much as men earn? Why do you want to stick to something like this? Because I honestly I tried many other ways, and this incentive worked a little better than any other incentive, because I was like, you will be able to give a better life to your families, your children. So if you work on second operation machines, it is a higher pay grade than just a quality check. So that is how I tried to push them into going on second operation machines. And I have an intent of trying to give them some training onto the first operation machines as well. So that is how I'm trying to get more people into mainstream manufacturing.
Kanchan, but that is once they are inside your floor. Okay.
Right.
But the catchment area itself is so weak. Did you ever have a thought, or did you do any homework on there to get even those 20 people into your floor? I mean, electronics, it's easy to get the girls, but mechanical, I mean, the availability itself is so less. How did you manage to get them? That is the question.
So again, all of these people have been with us for a long time. They have been there longer than I have been there.
Okay, not
So,
the recent ones.
The recent, there have been very few additions. There have been very few additions. Most of the people are, long time with us, to be honest. I'll be honest about that. Yeah. Usually, I'll tell you what happens is there's a lot of women who come to our doorstep, just, walking in the industrial area. They'll come, and if there's a job or something. And if my HR admin person who comes and who shows them, acha, ye wala kaam hai, if they see it's something other than quality, they don't agree to do it. That's what I'm saying. It's about the conditioning. And see, what I can do is the people I have already, I can push them, start with them. Then I can show the others them as an example. I can, launch these people as an example that, look, these guys have come to this level, so you can also do that. And I think it's also about the fact that mechanical industry somehow doesn't look very lucrative to people as much as IT or something else. I mean, so it's a bit of a, catch-22. You can't convince people to do something unless they're really interested.
Yeah, so again,
Sagar, I'll definitely share the number.
Yeah, Sagar, the situation is changing very rapidly. In Hosur, I have a client by name Tata Electronics Private Limited. There, 60% are women. and all of them work on machines, Makino, then Fanuc Robo Drill. Most of the machines are all operated by women, but of course they are not very old women. They are very young girls from throughout India. So I think it's a question of like what Kanchan was mentioning. It's a question of time. It will definitely change. And I can't believe that a woman cannot operate a machine, because gone are the days where you have to lift weights and things
Yes.
like that. You know,
They can
today-
actually operate it better. Let me tell you
better,
that.
much
Better,
better,
Because
much better,
better.
much better.
I mean, well, I'm being honest here. I have seen they're far more patient. They're far more, there's a lot of other attributes in a woman that can help them do better in that job. But
Correct.
it's just the conditioning that has been told to them. No, you can't do this. No, this is difficult.
mindset.
This is not your,
Correct.
yeah, it's not your cup of
Mindset.
tea.
Correct.
I think
And
MG
the
has a
intake-
manufacturing unit. Sorry.
No,
somebody
your
was saying-
machines would be operating.
no.
Your machines would be like operating a very high-end tailoring machine. You know,
Dinakar,
it is not
see,
something which is because in terms of I'm talking about the amount of physical effort. Because if you look at the older days, even to load and unload the component, it used to be heavy metal. In your case, since the parts are small components, that also would not
it's
be a
not difficult.
big issue at all.
It's not difficult.
But just I have another friend of mine. I don't know
Sure.
whether you want to. You already left. There was this chap by name Suresh, but
Yeah, I
was
saw
there?
Subhash Bhatt or something. Yeah.
Suresh Bhatt. He's
Sorry,
Dinakar,
my
I have a small
yeah. Please
query
go on,
there.
Suresh. Yeah. Sagar, please go on.
See, you're talking once people are in the industry, but what my question is, in the college itself, women or girls getting onto mechanical department itself is dwindling. Now, once
Yeah,
see,
you're right.
my question is actually, have you tried to address that part? Because people like you, if you start inspiring, probably there will be a lot of intake in the college. Once you have got mechanical in the I mean, my class, a class strength of 125. I'm a 2008 pass out in engineering.
Hmm.
I had 3 girls. Of those 3 girls, only one girl is now working with Mercedes. The rest two, one is in software, the other one is like, I mean, in Middle East doing,
That's what I mean. I know quite a few mechanical engineers, boys,
No. So how do you
who
inspire?
never stayed in mechanical engineering.
How do you inspire now girls to take on
Now,
mechanical? Is
I-
what
I
mechanical
think-
in college?
I think, see, I mean, we can do like something like we could have a tie-up with colleges and we could go and speak to them there. Of course, we can do that. I mean, I haven't had a chance to, maybe I should think about it. I mean, I don't have much connections in the colleges as of now, if I think about it very carefully. But
No, अगर है तो लेंगे ना। अगर वहां पे है
नहीं।
लड़कियां अगर मैकेनिकल लिया तो लेंगे। उनको मैकेनिकल की तरफ खींचना बहुत जरूरी है अभी।
See,
वो
Sagar, I
बहुत जरूरी है,
think.
लेकिन I'll tell you one thing. I'm sorry, Dinakar, please.
Yes, Dinakar, please.
No. So what I was trying to say was today there has to be a different revolution in our country, because today the number of engineers or diploma candidates going to mechanical itself is dwindling, because the
Exactly.
number of people going into
The whole
CS
my
numbers are dwindling. Forget
numbers are
women.
dwindling.
Question.
Correct. And if you look at my era, I completed engineering in '86. There would be nobody in mechanical who would be a girl. No
Same.
girl
My
would do
father's class,
mechanical.
no, there was no
Nobody.
woman in the mechanical.
Nowadays, somewhere in between, because anyway you have to do an engineering degree. It was not to really join a computer science. Computer science would get filled up, electronics would get filled up. Then the only place where a girl could join would be mechanical. So they would go to mechanical. I don't think any girl in our country by choice, or
Go
most
into
of the girls
mechanical,
by
actually.
choice did mechanical, right?
Dinakar is right about that.
So we need to
So
look at
I
the
think
revolution there.
I think it's only a question of waiting, and over time it will change, because if
But
people like her and there are others also who are into manufacturing, who are into high-end precision components, when it becomes more and more visible, awareness will
exactly.
happen, and then they'll
I
start
think
getting
if
in that
the
area.
whole business has more visibility, which was I was referring to, that India is yet to get there, and it will get there. Once we have that, see, I'll tell you, I'll be very honest. Even the funding for our sector is very difficult. Why is there no funding for our sector?
Correct.
Because it is a difficult sector to look at. They will be like ROI nahi lamba hoga, okay nahi. They are all, everybody's looking at short-term things and short-term results
Correct.
and short-term, money and, short ROIs and everything. There is very less funding for the manufacturing sector just because of these reasons. So even today's generation is very different. All of them, most of them, let's not generalize, but
Most of
majority
them.
of them will be looking at doing something that will give them the best
Instant
result in
result.
short term.
Yeah.
Instant.
मतलब इतना ही करेंगे और इतना result आना चाहिए.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. The whole society has become like that. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole environment is like that. So if you expect these people to come into manufacturing, and if you expect these people to come to engineering, it has to come from within them. It
Yeah.
cannot come by pushing them, because these guys are also not pushovers. हमारे ज़माने में ऐसा भी होता था, नहीं, you do engineering. At least I was able to defend myself. I was like, no, I can't do engineering. Let me do architecture. I have an architectural, I have a design side to me, or I have a creative side to me. I don't think I'll do great in engineering. Let me do architecture, and he agreed. But before that generation, people were not able to, even if the girls had a choice to study, they would not have a choice. They would be pushed into something. And
Yeah.
I remember, as a fact, in architecture, most of the girls, the parents made them do architecture thinking ye to ghar se baith ke. I was like, ghar se baith ke? Architect has to be on the site all the time. What are you talking about? So they had this thought process of architecture, nahi, office mein baith ke pencil chalana hai, so it's a safe thing for girls to do. This was the mindset. And I'm being honest, this was my own classmates. So, I mean, it's not that simple. I mean, I would love if more women come into manufacturing, because we need a good representation, and they have a different acumen. They have a different way of thinking. It is always out of the box thinking that will help us get where we want to, because there are people who go by the book and there are people who don't go by the book. We need both. So I don't go by the book at all.
Kanchan, last one, sorry to intervene.
Sure.
Post this, okay, I will want to tomorrow I have some plans to talk about this. While you were talking and while Dinakar was adding on, I got this idea. Let me talk to you tomorrow. Is that okay?
Sure, absolutely. I'm more than happy for Dinakar to share my number with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Super. So now, who else wants to ask anything? Otherwise, I'll ask somebody to tell something.
I can I talk?
Yeah, please go on. Please go on.
Please, Amar sir.
मैम बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से आपने सुनाया अपनी कहानी।
Thank you so much, sir.
विकसित भारत की एक नई कहानी।
जी सर।
नारी शक्ति को ताकत देने की एक बात कही आप।
जी सर।
वो बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे। दूसरी बात आपने कहा कि क्वालिटी ऑलवेज पेस। आपके पिताजी ने कहा कि ये नहीं हो सकता, ऐसा होना ही चाहिए। अपनी जिंदगी में सीखा। It resonates very much to my life. I still continue my passion in a different field. I'm not a mechanical person or an IT software, but I make niche garments as American Bridal.
Oh, fantastic, sir. That's amazing.
So, last 30 years I've been doing this. As you said rightly, precision. Precision is a word that we people have to understand it very carefully from our heart.
Yes.
Even if you go to a doctor, he said, how precisely you will do my surgery.
That's true.
हम वो जहाँ तक हम सोचते हैं कि हमारी सोच को बदलना पड़ेगा।
Absolutely.
मैंने अपनी जिंदगी में बहुत कुछ सीखा ट्रैवल करने की जर्नी के अंदर विदेशों में, कि जहाँ तक आप सही चीज नहीं देंगे आपके पास कोई भी आएगा नहीं। हमारा इंटेंशन कभी भी सही नहीं रहता है ना, हम सोच के जाते चलो इसको एक बार देते हम आगे बस।
वो वही है। That has also been told to me by many customers कि आपके लोग पहली बार तो अच्छा माल देते हैं, फिर अगली बार it's substandard. See, I'll tell you what has happened is कि
मैंने सोचा मैं आपसे कंप्लीट कर रहा एक बात में।
सॉरी सर, बोलिए।
मैं जब इंडस्ट्री में पैर रखा था, मैंने एक चीज अंडरस्टैंड किया, पहले उनका माइंडसेट क्या है, बायर का माइंडसेट क्या है कि they want consistent suppliers.
Absolutely.
I knew many people tried to enter my field, say offering them better prices, faster deliveries, but my customers said how consistent you are. How consistent you are and what will be delivery periods.
Correct.
आपने कहा ना delivery, हम बोलते हैं one no makes them happier than saying them tomorrow.
Absolutely.
I learned this very hard way, but अच्छी चीज के लिए जिंदगी में बहुत कुछ जगह है। वर्ल्ड के अंदर।
सर उसी
मैंने
चीज
यूएस
से
में
सबसे ज्यादा लर्निंग बढ़िया होती है जहाँ
मैंने
पे
यूएस में एक चीज को सीखा है कि मेरी इंडस्ट्री में, जिस इंडस्ट्री में मैंने काम किया है, वहाँ काम की कदर है। चाहे वो आपकी इंडस्ट्री हो, दुनिया में कोई भी काम करिए, सक्सेस डजंट कम सो इजीली। हम लोग कंपनसेट कर देते हैं उस चीज की, हमारी सोच को बदलना पड़ेगा। बट आपकी जर्नी बहुत ही बढ़िया लगी मुझे सुन के,
Thank you,
इंस्पायरिंग।
Amar sir. So thank you so much for saying that. It coming from you, from your experience, मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी बात है आप।
At my age, still my passion, as your dad continues with the work, I also still have continued my passion with my work. कम किया, फिर भी सोने का, फिर अभी back to work वाला. After so much of medical issues, I still have my passion to do my work.
मैं आपको वही बता रही हूँ, वो मेरे फैक्ट्री मेरे से ज्यादा जाते हैं क्योंकि मैं कभी मीटिंग्स के लिए बाहर होती हूँ या कुछ, तो फैक्ट्री इज अ लिटिल फार। इफ थोड़ा दूर है मीटिंग तो देन आई कैन नॉट गो बैक जस्ट फॉर 1 or 2 hours, देन आई वर्क फ्रॉम होम या व्हाटएवर। बट वो कंसिस्टेंटली रोज फैक्ट्री जाएंगे।
वो लेडीज
तो
का है, आपने कहा ना, लेडीज से कहा कि भाई आपकी इंडस्ट्री में, जहाँ तक मैंने 1960s में, आप जो अभी सीएनसी मशीन जो है, मैं 1960s में देखा है इसको। तो लेडीज का माइंडसेट कैसा रहता है कि हमको बार बार वही चीज बनानी है, उस चीज को समझते हैं, और बाकी लोगों में उस चीज को समझने में बहुत देर लगती है। इसके अंदर
you're right.
उनकी जो पकड़ है, उसको समझ आती है कि भाई इनको नहीं, हमको यही बनाना है, ऐसा ही बनाना है, ऐसी चीज। They'll not come back. I saw this in Indian telephone industries when they used to check those manual telephone instruments before going out to the customers.
जी
वो
सर,
हर इंस्ट्रूमेंट को लेडीज चेक करके बाद में फाइनली इट शुड बी पैक्ड, रैप्ड एंड
जी
सेंट
सर।
तो मैं बहुत पहले जो
Amarji, what I feel is there has to be a right mix. It's
Yes.
not possible that only one will do better or the other do better. There should be a right mix, in my opinion. Of course, there is a lot of dexterity, a lot of what should I call it as commitment, and disturbances are
Absolutely, I
less.
agree.
But a mix is
Absolutely.
required in both the
Mix is
cases. Each
required.
one
I
comes
agree.
with a
I agree.
different
Every
background,
person has
right?
his own talent. Every
Correct,
person has his own talent in his own field. But nevertheless, today, as government also is giving empowering women to scale up their knowledge with activities.
Correct.
So they are running parallelly with us today. And we should appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Super.
it.
Now, I would invite Ajit to tell what was your, what do you call it as, extraction on leadership from whatever Kanchan spoke, Ajit. What do you extract from that as the
This will be
as
something
the leadership
interesting to
wisdom?
hear.
Before that, let me
Basically, if
introduce
you
Ajit.
ask me
Ajit has
about
been a trainer for now, reformer, you can say, for the last 30 odd years.
Okay.
He runs a organization called as Buoyancy, where they've been transforming kids, people of all ages and all genders for the last 30 years. He must have already
Okay.
touched the lives of about 1 lakh people now, till now.
Wow.
than
So
that.
let's hear from Ajit as to what kind of leadership wisdom can he draw from whatever you spoke till now,
See,
Ajit.
let me just throw a light on 3 words. Samasthiti, balance, depends on manasthiti and not on paristhiti. If the day people understand the changing scenario, the first millennium was physically oriented, hunting, killing, climbing trees, carrying we needed muscles, and that was human elements. Second millennium was intellectually driven, and therefore IT came. Third millennium is emotionally driven.
Wow.
Whether you like it or not, the women are
Wow.
going to be successful. But unfortunately, nonsense is being spoken. We are not giving importance to the reality of what is. We are talking about rules and regulations. Please understand that emotionally, women are very powerful. Men are not emotionally powerful. Androgens are only physically oriented. Estrogens are emotionally oriented.
Emotionally oriented.
That's why that samasthiti is very important. Factory. The fact is, I want to repeat, and repetition is logical, and therefore men like repetitions, whereas women like creativity. When both are in balance, yin and yang, ardhanareshwari, then only the things will start working. Unfortunately, we have been conditioned with nonsense. Conditioning, criticism, and comparisons have destroyed us. There is no
Yes,
such
sir.
thing as male and female. There is, the day the male understands that the male is a subset of female, The lad is the subset of lady. And the day we understand that a woman is a woman with a man with a womb, then the whole thing changes. The whole thing is people
Wow,
are going
that's-
too logical in life.
Wow,
They are
that's very
not
powerful,
fully
sir.
holistic. They are creating holes in their lives.
You're saying things that usually I also say, that because men are like, no, you want equality. I said, you're not equal to us. You cannot be equal.
No,
You are not equal.
impossible. Impossible. Please understand
I always
that,
say
my
this.
dear,
You're not equal.
my dear friends, nakal, akal, or shakal. Please understand there is something which is magical. the magical, the magical part of life is that we have to understand delivery is done only by the ladies. If you want to see quality in quantity, it is ladies. They tried
Ladies.
one experiment.
Wow.
1 acre of land for the men, 1 acre of land for the female. The men were sowing the seeds when the women were singing and sowing the seeds. The productivity of the rice was more in the women thing. Please
Absolutely.
understand, emotion is energy in motion. We are talking logic. Logic doesn't work. And
Always
all
doesn't
what
work.
you went through, Kanchan. Kanchan means gold. Kanchan means
Gold.
shining. Kanchan means bright. And she went through all that nonsense which she went through because existence was preparing her for something. But unfortunately, we call it, oh, you're great. No, existence prepares you because only through pressures you give pleasures to others. Unfortunately, we have not understood life. We go too much into logic, and that's why the problem is.
Thank you so much.
क्या
Thank you,
बात
Fantastic,
कही,
Ajit.
क्या बात कही। हमारी मनस्थिति सुधार भी साहब, धन्यवाद।
No,
Thank you, Ajit.
that was a very interesting summation, and I don't find people very usually, like, I don't find people very often speaking in such a way, and it's exhilarating to see that you're speaking the real truth. That is the truth, actually. I do not speak of all of those things usually because it tends to be taken like, oh no, she's a very huge feminist. I think there's nothing feminist about it. Actually, the word feminism has been misconstrued a lot. There is no way the men can be equal. And a lot of people are like, no, you want equality, you want this. I said, no. We're talking about equality in terms of work, maybe. But we don't want, you're not equal to us. Just, you need to understand that part. So it's a lot of egos get hurt in that when I say that. So I usually avoid saying that.
Yeah, Sagar, you wanted to say something.
Kanchan, contrary to what now we just conversed, I mean, what Ajit said, etc., ऐसा भी नहीं है. Has there been any incidents where you being a lady in manufacturing has been actually advantageous to you?
That's an interesting question, actually. I am not entirely sure of that, but I think people tend to believe women more because we are honest.
See,
We are honest
May I add
people.
here?
1 second.
Sure,
Ajit.
please.
One second. So it so happened during a conversation with one of my clients, it so happened, सर आपको पता है हमारे कस्टमर I mean ये जो कस्टमर क्वालिटी है ना, यहाँ वारंटी क्लेम्स के लिए हम लोग लेडी को रखते हैं. द रीजन इज अगर मैन को रख दिया ना तो बहुत चिल्लाता है, लेडी को रखा ना तो ये जो कस्टमर कंप्लेन आता है तो उनका इंटेंसिटी बहुत कम होता है. आई एम सॉरी वेदर इट इज साउंडिंग राइट और रॉन्ग, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग, बट ही सेड यहाँ पे कस्टमर कंप्लेंट्स चिल्लाते नहीं है.
इंटेंसिटी नहीं, सहन शक्ति ज्यादा होती है नारी की.
Yes, Ajit, go ahead.
See,
Ajit ji.
so look at the word Ma. Ma is the original vibration of life. Om,
Om.
Amen, Ameen. So Ma is mummy. You look anywhere, my dear friends, please understand. I do not know, we have not understood वक्त से पहले और किस्मत से ज्यादा कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला है. So if we go through what we go through, Kanchan said she's stubborn. No, it is a determination. The other end
I
of the
agree.
spectrum of stubborn is determination. It
I
is
agree.
not stubbornness. Yeah. So we understand that hot and cold are only two ends of the same temperature. We have not understood that emotions in energy in motion can only be managed, maneuvered by a mother, a lady, We have not understood this. We talk too much logic, and let us understand that the day we are talking about return on investment, let me understand that the balance, everything in life is balance. Unfortunately, we are not working on balance, whether it is a man or a woman. The day they learn the power of balance, everything falls into place.
Agreed.
Super.
Superb.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ajit. Before we end, Kanchan, one question to you. What way can we
Sure.
help you? See, we are a community of people who have fairly good connections and
Yes.
have
I
wisdom.
review. I have so many helps that I'm going to ask. Don't worry about it. To
Sure,
be honest,
sure,
I'm
sure.
going to. I have been trying to get in touch with Bosch, and when I saw your profile, I was like, okay, I need his help. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying it like, and I ask for help, open and straight. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm
Sure,
not going to
we
say,
will touch
"Sir,
base.
please,
Let me
can we
know.
do this?" No, definitely not. But I would definitely something that I would like some help on would be funding, actually, because. The thing is, we are at a position where we are at that switchover phase, and it requires a fair bit of funding. And because of that, we are getting our success is getting restricted slightly, because we have a lot of customers coming in to our factory. The infrastructure is fairly old; it is rented, but I would like to have certain changes, additions done. But that requires a certain amount of funding, or I would really like if we have some maybe joint ventures or something like that. So I would really like to hear from all of you if we could pull off something, or if I can get some help on that.
Sure, sure. You get in touch, you
Absolutely.
have my number, you
Absolutely.
can contact me. Are
Absolutely,
you also
sir.
supplying anything to Godrej?
No, not as of now.
I don't know whether Godrej Aerospace may have some small components like this. Lot of
Yes, we're supplying to others, but not Godrej
not Godrej. Okay.
yet. Definitely would like to get in touch with them. For
So
sure.
we will touch base after that. Then I'll do the
Absolutely, sir.
connections.
Absolutely,
Sure.
sir. Not an issue.
Okay. Super. So
What is
as
the-
usual, I
What
would.
is the story of the name of your company? Gabriel. Uska matlab kya hai?
There is no story to it. Because when the third thing happened, he just had to find a name very quickly, and there was a different name before that. Because that guy duped him, he wanted to change the name completely and start it from scratch. So he changed the name to Gabriel. But Gabriel in Greek mythology, I think it means God's child. So I
Gabriel,
think
right?
somewhere.
Gabriel.
No,
Yes,
Gabril.
Correct. No, Gabriel is the English version of Gabriel, possibly.
Yeah.
So that Gabriel Dinakar is the shock absorber supplier, right? The
No, no,
Yeah,
no,
that-
no, no. That is Gabriel. Yeah, that's true. But that
That is
Gabriel
that's
also
an
is a
Anand ka.
Anand
with
Group.
Anand Group
Christian
company.
mythology.
And
This
it
has got
matches
nothing to
Greek
do with
mythology.
your company has got nothing to do with that, right?
No. We're
I think
completely different.
Gabriel, that Gabriel Sagar will have tolerances in hundreds of a millimeter, and her
Yeah.
tolerances would be in microns.
So yeah, we are in 10 microns.
I think when Gabriel asked somebody to walk on the water and he walked on the water, that shows faith, that shows confidence, that shows belief.
Yeah.
Thank you for your kind words,
Remember-
sir. I think they were absolutely brilliant. I have never heard something like that before. As in some, well, that was very powerful.
Sure.
Actually, that was very kind.
Thank you so much. And as usual, Amarji, over to you for the final words, and then we can close. And thanks a lot, Kanchan. It was a wonderful
Thank
session.
you so much, Dinakar.
Thank you.
This was brilliant.
Yeah.
This was a great conversation.
Amarji, over to you for the last
Yeah.
words.
Thank you, Dinkarji. Kanchanji, first of all, thank you so much for your wonderful
Thank you so much, sir.
inspirational journey that will inspire many people. And
I hope
today,
so, sir.
as the age of women empowerment is there, might be many more women will come into our industry, as you say. This is one thing which I liked, and so precisely that you followed your work, that your father, you want to leave a legacy about what he has done so far. Keep it doing, I say.
Thank
Never
you so
say
much,
no
sir.
to it.
Thank you
And,
so
Absolutely,
much.
sir. No chance.
That's the best thing. That's the best thing. Lot to learn from you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so
Thank-
much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Whoever who's present, if you want, you can switch on your camera. We just take a screenshot
Yeah,
with
that
all
would
the
be great. I would
participants.
like to see everybody's face.
Yeah. I think there it is. I need to take this out and then. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. And then look forward to another sit chat next week on Thursday.
Thank you
Same
so much
time.
for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
All
you.
the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.
Thank you. Bye.